Hello and welcome to Impressing Minds. Today we're going to discuss the CPS visit to our home. So say you have children in your home, they've been there for a month, they've been there for 6 months, however long, and you're the foster parents and you're getting ready to have a social worker, a CPS worker come to visit your house. And you may be intimidated about that. You may be afraid you'll say the wrong thing. You may be afraid that you'll be not doing what's right or what's expected of you. And so during this visit, you'll feel like you're not as good as another foster family or you're not doing the right thing. But I'm going to show you today how you can go from surviving or just getting by to thriving the CPS visit and actually enjoying it. I had several workers that I really enjoyed when they came to visit. All right, so do you want to be a valuable member of the foster care team? Of course we do. We want to be valued because these children are spending so much time with us. They're spending 24/7 sometimes. They're only gone out of our sight while they're at school maybe or for visits. So we have a lot of information that we need to share. We are a valuable member of the foster care team. And as foster parents, sometimes we get the bad rap that we're doing this for the money or we're doing this because, we're not doing anything else with our time. We're already staying at home. We might as well, be a foster parent so we can bring some extra income in. And I want to dispel that viewpoint or that bias that anybody would do this kind of work or this kind of ministry for money. So I want us to be a valuable member of the entire foster care team. And we all do as a group. We want to be considered valuable and kind of raise that bar as far as what's expected for foster parents. So I hope that this little mini training will do that for us. All right, we want to be the best foster family. That was a lot of my concern, is that I didn't know what other foster families' houses look like or homes look like. So I wasn't really sure how to compare what I was doing with other people. The best thing I can tell you is to just be yourself, be normal, be regular when they come. Interact with your children like you would any other time, but strive for professionalism when you're interacting with the worker. Strive for professionalism when you're interacting with the guardian ad litem. So say the social worker may not be there, but the guardian ad litem is. So strive for professional communication, professional interactions with them, proper grammar, that kind of thing. So we want to be the best foster family we can, especially for those little ones. All right, so in order to be professional, it's important that we have great communication skills. And so I feel like most of the time I have good communication skills, except when, for example, I'm on camera or when I have to talk to someone of real importance. Then my communication skills seem to deteriorate and quickly. So the more you practice, though, the better you'll get. So in order to have good communication skills, there are little tips and tricks that you can use. One I have listed here is Grammarly. And when you're using written communication skills, such as in emails, which we'll talk about in a second, Grammarly is a great thing that you can use that will give you clues. Even the free trial, it's not a free trial, it's actually a free subscription. It will give you clues. It'll highlight some words that need attention and you can correct them. It'll give you suggestions. So that's something that I recommend for your written email communication, Grammarly. It will work wonders for those communication skills. All right, and the next thing is just note-taking skills. So I wanted to talk just a minute here about writing things down and writing them down weekly or even daily, depending on the children that you have and how many issues or problems or concerns that you have. So for example, if you have a 2-year-old and that's the only child that you have, you may not have to write much down. So how's their appetite? How do they act after visits? Because they really wouldn't know, I mean, depending on if they're a very young 2 or a very old, mature 2, you know, they wouldn't know you're going on a visit, you're going to go see mom, you know. You're just going to write down basic notes about how they've been, if they went to the doctor that week, if they went to the WIC office that week, things like that. If, on the other hand, you have someone who is 10 years old, a boy who's 10, say, and a little sister that's probably 6, for example, so 10 and 6-year-old. All right, and they have some behavior issues. They have meltdowns before the visit. They cry extensively before the visit. When they get back from the visit, they fight with each other. They hit each other. They spit on each other, for example. You will want to write those down. I like to have a special notebook just for these notes. It can be a legal pad. It can be a notebook from the Dollar Tree or something. But date every day that something significant happens. Write those things down. So you have to have good note-taking skills in order to effectively communicate later. And I'm going to show you how to turn those notes, or I'm going to talk about how to turn those notes into effective communication. So weekly, at least, you would take notes on your child. Taking notes weekly is very important. I would even suggest, if you have a little more high maintenance child, take them daily. All right, you're going to take those notes that you've had written in your notebook and convert those notes into an email. You're going to want to do this every week at a certain day. For example, every Friday, maybe make an email to the worker and CC your husband on it. That way, it's not like you are, you know, you're saying these things unobjectively. When you CC him, it's like both of you are subscribing to these are the facts and this is what happened. So the spitting and the fighting after the visits, those are significant things that would need to be, you know, communicated with the worker after a visit. Those are significant things. So we're going to take those notes and we're going to summarize them and convert them into an email. And every Friday, for example, or every Monday, if your visits are on a Saturday, it may make more sense to sit down on Monday morning or Monday evening and email the worker. It doesn't matter when you email the worker because, you know, she's at work Monday through Friday, so she'll be getting her emails consistently the next day that she's in the office. So you could do it anytime. So converting your notes to a summarized email for her to see when she gets in the office the next day. So these are summary notes. These are not any emergencies. These are nothing that, you know, requires her immediate attention. These are just notes that you've taken that need to be documented for just something that you can address at a later time. All right, email the worker about things such as behaviors, any academic issues, peer interactions at school or in the neighborhood, on teams if they're playing baseball or basketball or whatever, and they have some negative peer interactions. Go ahead and email something like that. Any moods that have changed significantly, appetite, etc. So you're going to email the worker any of these things that you think are significant and be consistent in those. So you could even have you know, a note in the front that says, I want to talk about behaviors, academics, peer interactions, moods, and appetite. And those are going to be the significant things that you touch base on. And every week in your notes, you're going to see these are the things that have happened. How did that change from last week? And then look forward to the future. If you're consistently thinking and jotting your behaviors down, or the children's behaviors down, you know, that's good because they can see a pattern. academics, you can say, well, I got the report card last week. Okay, let me just go ahead and email the worker the report card summary. Moods. From one week to the next, you can discuss moods. And these are great. You can even take this email, print it out, and put it in the life book. So it's a summary. It's a very good way to provide documentation to the worker, a very good way to provide documentation for the life book itself for many, many years to come. Like if they go into foster care again later, these were the things that were going on then. These are the things that might be going on now. All right, once the worker comes to your house, so the worker's on their way, you clean the house, of course, you're gonna make sure everything's nice and neat and in place. I have a blog post that actually talks about those kinds of things, getting the children settled and tips and tricks to use to get them occupied for a while so you can have some conversations, because it's important to take that time and utilize it, to have some good conversations with them about these children. What you want to do is take your emails that you've printed and then turn those into conversations. So you're going to have those in your hand. You're going to be able to talk about them, reflect on them, and further explain and give more details about the appetite issue. Well, the appetite issue really wasn't an appetite. I found out later that they just didn't like Italian foods, and I serve Italian foods 3 times a week, so really wasn't an appetite issue at all. It's just being picky. Or they were hoarding food in their closet, and so we decided to leave a snack bowl in the kitchen, and anytime they get hungry, they know that they are allowed to get any kind of food from the snack bowl. So, you've talked about the issue and you've resolved it with her, and then, they're just good conversation starters, and then resolutions can be made from those. All right, while the worker is present, just review those emails and then ask any questions that you have. I have on the next page a list of questions to ask. And this is just a guide, so you're going to ask any of these questions, and once you get started asking questions, then she'll give information, then you can ask more questions. So a good way to do this scenario would be go over the emails, discuss those, then have a set of questions ready to ask her. When's the next MDT meeting? That's always a good question. Make sure you put that on your calendar. When's the next court hearing? What's the goal for that court hearing? Have there been any other relatives or friends come forward to support the parents? Are they in a rehab program when they get out? Or are they going right back to where they were to begin with? Is there anyone to support them when they come back out? How long is this program? Is it a 3-month program, 1 month, 6 months? Have the parents been doing well with their goals? So those are just things you can talk about and just show that you're generally interested, which I'm sure you are, generally interested in the outcome of the case overall. And questions about the children. Is there any new information about the children's background that they have recently found out? For example, so questions about the children, new background information. So for example, have the children been in foster care before and you just found out, or the worker just found out? What's the plan for reunification? Is that really a legitimate goal? And if that's not the goal, then what would the next plan be? Relatives? Adoption? There's a certain point in time when that is a valid question to ask. Are there any relatives that may be interested in taking the children? These are all, they just correlate with one another. Do you have any updates on their past that you can share? And who's the guardian ad litem? Now, you're going to know this eventually, because if you've ever been to the MDT meeting, you'll meet them there. They'll have to be at the MDT meetings. And when can you expect to hear from the guardian ad litem? Will they visit the home? I've had guardian ad litems to visit my home to talk to me, and they were just the nicest, most wonderful people. I felt like they were really on our side and the kids' side, and they just did a wonderful job. And then I've had some grand ad litems who didn't even know what the children looked like. They were distant during meetings. They were on their phone during the entire meeting. They they didn't even talk during the meeting. It was atrocious, actually. I would be embarrassed to be that guardian ad litem and say that I represented these children. So. All right, so then at the very end of the meeting, at the visit of your house, summarize the communication with your notes. So if they tell you something significant, go ahead and write that down. And then, just summarize. So you're saying that the parents have 6 more months in their program, and then at that time we'll revisit, court at that point, something like that. So just revisit what you discussed. Then what I like to do is call each child over to the worker at that moment and give them a chance to talk and kind of form a relationship with that worker. I have a friend who has a relationship with her social worker even to this day, because that was the only consistent person that she had in her life throughout foster care was her social worker. So give each child a chance to speak during the visit. Some of the workers are better at communication skills with the children than others. Some are more interested in talking with you, and some are more interested in talking with the children. So you have to just kind of get the feel about what are they interested in, or what are they comfortable with, and then what do you need? Because as the foster parent, you need sometimes to discuss difficult things. And so establishing the relationship with the child helps, and establishing the relationship with you and the worker helps also, because when you do need something, they're going to be more receptive to what you need if you have that relationship and you're just not, an acquaintance, but you're more of a real partner in the foster care group. And then always thank the worker. I mean, they are really doing a thankless job. They're overworked, they're underpaid. No one's really thanking them. I'm sure the parents, they've just taken their children from their home. They're not getting thanked from them, of course. So you're really the only person in this that could possibly thank them. And so before they leave, thank you for coming by. Thank you for what you're doing for the children. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you. And be genuine, because they really are doing a thankless job, really are. And then the last thing I have to do is to add these notes to their life book. Updating the life book is probably one of the most important things you can do for that child if parental rights are terminated, so that they know what went on. If they lose that contact with that parent, the life book may be the only story that ties everything together. If they had to leave your home, so you're not the permanent person who is, adopting them, so, there would be no consistent tie there. The life book may be the tie that would give them the answer to their story. And I like to write those notes down objectively and just matter-of-factly. This is what happened, this is what went on, etc. So I would like for you to like, subscribe, and comment. What other questions do you have? Put those down the bottom. The website, I have a blog post that actually goes over the same exact thing with a little more detail and another twist to it. I'm not talking about communication skills so much, but it does talk about the visit and what you can do to make it go smoothly. It's impressingminds.com. Like, subscribe, and comment. And I really